San Bernardino County's Land Use Services has now made it even easier for you to schedule your on site, virtual, and self inspections. It's called Easy Inspect, and it's a new mobile app available on the App Store and Google Play. Built with both contractors and homeowners in mind, Easy Inspect is an easy to use tool for viewing all of your eligible inspections right from your phone. You can schedule one or multiple inspections at your fingertips. For any additional help using Easy Inspect, visit easyinspect.sbcounty.gov or call 800 637 6655.
The way you sort your trash may be changing. Did you know organic waste that ends up in California's landfills makes up 20% of the state's methane gas emissions? Organic waste includes items such as food waste, like leftovers, bones, shells, peels, and pits. Food soiled paper products such as paper towels, napkins, and pizza boxes. And yard waste such as grass clippings, leaves, and twigs. That's why jurisdictions throughout California, including the unincorporated areas of San Bernardino County, are now required to implement Senate Bill 1383, the new statewide plan to reduce methane gas emissions. If you live or work in an unincorporated area of San Bernardino County, you may be required to subscribe to waste, recycling, and organic recycling services in 2023. The county is dedicated to keeping residents and businesses of the unincorporated areas informed about this new state law and how it affects our communities before any changes take place.
Code enforcement's mission is to ensure compliance with county codes and state laws, to create safe, attractive communities that improve the quality of life of residents.
County Code Enforcement has several special programs: illegal dumping, community cleanup, graffiti abatement, fire hazard abatement, off-highway vehicle enforcement, cannabis enforcement, and of course our traditional code enforcement program.
Code enforcement benefits residents through our goal of leaving people better than we found them, by leaving them safer because we have addressed unpermitted construction that could affect the occupants, or by improving blighted conditions that affect not only the occupants, but the community.
My role in code enforcement is to ensure that residents of San Bernardino County are following the rules and the ordinances, talking with the public more one-on-one, helping them learn the ordinances, but also talking to them as though we're neighbors, because we need to make sure that San Bernardino County is a good place to live, a good place to work, and be a beautiful place for the residents.
Our code enforcement team continues to grow. We're working on some initiatives that are going to expand services and create new programs that will help our county residents.
I'm very pleased with them always. I've dealt with them for a good 30 years now. There's reasons for the code enforcement, and we want our city safe, and you can see when you don't have the codes what you get.
I became homeless back in 2008. I lost my sister. Then I lost my mom. I went under depression. I was really sick. I couldn't walk.
Sarah, we met in late 2019. She was living in front of businesses along the street. We gave her some information and linked her with a post team and inroads for temporary transitional housing motel assistance.
So I think it's important collaborating with all the departments involved, because sometimes there's a situation where we'll have to gather together and just think outside the box how we could help that person out.
Inroads stands for Innovative Remote On-Site Assistance Delivery Service. From the time that I just recently had met her on the streets to today, she's so much happier, healthier, and is working towards getting her own apartment now.
We go to where the client is and taking the resources directly to them. And it helps build that bridge for success.
I don't want to be homeless anymore, and I thank the county staff and team that helped me through this. Thank you guys, and God bless you.
ARMC just received Level 1 Trauma Center verification by the American College of Surgeons.
It means that all of these services at the hospital are able to work together in a timely fashion to take a patient from the doorway to the definitive care place. We were Level 2 prior to this. By achieving Level 1 status, we've become a center that doesn't have to transfer any patients out to provide life-saving care.
It is well known as the county hospital that serves the Inland Empire region with high-quality medical care, but also a great place to train future physicians and future nurses.
We developed a program, actually just a partnership with our local hospitals to go out and teach them about trauma. It's a phone call, and then we'll set a classroom for their physicians and ER nurses, and we're more than happy to go and provide this education, because our goal is to provide optimal care for all of our patients, not only in our hospital, but in the outside hospitals as well.
So I think having education in addition to being able to deliver high quality care, that's what I think makes this hospital a very special place.
San Bernardino County has always been the biggest, and once again, we're the best. Under the Board of Supervisors' visionary leadership, we earned an incredible 160 Achievement Awards from the National Association of Counties in 2023, winning more than any other county for the second year in a row. There are more than 3,000 counties in the United States, and San Bernardino County continues to stand above them all in terms of accolades for innovation, efficiency, and public service. This year, we were honored for streamlining staff training for our homeless point-in-time count, hosting 32 animal adoption events leading to more than 1,600 pet adoptions, making building inspections easier, keeping residents well-informed and safe following the El Dorado flood, teaching children the importance of good oral health, providing reentry support to vulnerable clients following incarceration, enabling local job seekers to succeed in their careers, increasing access to healthy foods for county residents, unveiling our Curtain of Courage Memorial. And this is just a sample of the 160 national awards that San Bernardino County earned for the services we provide to our residents and visitors. Thank you to our county employees for making this recognition possible.
I personally always play ball with Levi. Cody always plays ball with Nolan. And then we have Sonia, who is upset if she doesn't get two buddies. There will be special requests on the field, like, no, you're my buddy. And then sometimes they get in arguments. And Miracle League is a baseball league for people with special needs. Our role is to go down there and be their buddy. Whatever they need, help getting around the bases because they're in a wheelchair, assistance hitting the ball, throwing the ball. It's our job to make sure that nobody gets hurt. Everybody there is just having a good time. Both teams are rooting for each other. You know, there's really no competition. There's no outs. Everybody's just there to have fun. It's just a really neat program to be a part of. 6 o'clock is game time. They'll do a national anthem. We buddy up with our players. Sometimes you have no choice in the matter. They come up to you and like, you are my buddy.
You want to be my
Absolutely.
buddy? Tyler?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're with them the whole time. So he hits the ball, you're running with him to the first, second, third. It's all about getting out into the community that we serve. We will run into some of the players at the grocery store, on medical aids. You know, they'll instantly, we'll recognize each other and talk about, when the next season is coming out. A lot of our players obviously have some medical issues, and we've gone to their houses on medical aids to already have the relationship. We already know each other. The parents already know us. It is a lot different than just going into someone's house that you don't know.
I grew up in this area, and there were not programs that made kids with disabilities feel normal. So this is like a normal thing. This is baseball. We started in May of 2013. Fire and EMS and police guys are heroes. For our players to have the fire department come out and help them and be their best friend for a night, that's huge. Awesome.
It's so beautiful being able to see like the parents come together and being able to hang out and communicate with each other. Being able to see the joy on the faces. There's literally never a bad day when I come to Miracle League.
We've had the opportunity to invest the town resources into Brimfield. They're used to the field. There's about a lot of comfort that comes from that. Yeah, it's been a real blessing to us in the community, and you can see the participation here. The bleachers are full every night. That's the thing I dig about it.
Throw it to Nolan. Throw it to Nolan. Nolan, throw it in.
Closely by Andrea.
Spud.
He hasn't said many of his one-liners. He's famous for saying, like, if somebody's like really swinging at it, he'll be like,
he's chopping broccoli. He's chopping broccoli.
I'm definitely invested in this community. It feels like home. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love it. All right, dude.
What's in there?
We brought gifts.
Oh!
Right?
Finally a hat.
Finally, right? I'm Zach Taylor, the captain with San Bernardino County Fire Department here in Yucca Valley, and I'm proud to serve you.
Good job.
Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid being made in somebody's garage or their home, not controlled. It's 50 times more powerful than heroin and 100 times more powerful than morphine.
Stop the Void is a California nonprofit corporation dedicated to educating and raising awareness in our communities about the scourge of fentanyl. We started this organization because I lost my own son, Daniel Puerta, who was only 16 and a half years old when he passed away due to fentanyl poisoning. Due to the stigma of addiction and overdose, most parents feel that this could never happen to them. And I'm truly sorry, but it can.
San Bernardino County started with the Fentanyl Doesn't Care, But We Do campaign. Fentanyl doesn't care if you're a mother, a father, a son, a daughter, a coworker, a friend. It just doesn't care. But we do in the county of San Bernardino, and that's why we created this campaign to bring awareness to the community.
San Bernardino County and Stop the Void have partnered together. Come to San Bernardino County website, Department of Behavioral Health, look at all the resources that they have, and make sure that you speak to your children. Numbers just came out for 2022, and it's north of 109,800 drug deaths in the United States. Roughly 77% of all of those drug deaths were due to fentanyl. This is why this message and this campaign is so, so important. If you think that it can't happen to you, think twice.
San Bernardino County's Land Use Services has now made it even easier for you to schedule your on-site, virtual, and self-inspections. It's called Easy Inspect, and it's a new mobile app available on the App Store and Google Play. Built with both contractors and homeowners in mind, Easy Inspect is an easy-to-use tool for viewing all of your eligible inspections right from your phone. You can schedule one or multiple inspections at your fingertips. For any additional help using Easy Inspect, visit easyinspect.sbcounty.gov or call 800-637-6655.
The way you sort your trash may be changing. Did you know organic waste that ends up in California's landfills makes up 20% of the state's methane gas emissions? Organic waste includes items such as food waste, like leftovers, bones, shells, peels, and pits. Food-soiled paper products such as paper towels, napkins, and pizza boxes. And yard waste such as grass clippings, leaves, and twigs. That's why jurisdictions throughout California, including the unincorporated areas of San Bernardino County, are now required to implement Senate Bill 1383, the new statewide plan to reduce methane gas emissions. If you live or work in an unincorporated area of San Bernardino County, you may be required to subscribe to waste, recycling, and organic recycling services in 2023. The county is dedicated to keeping residents and businesses of the unincorporated areas informed about this new state law and how it affects our communities before any changes take place.
Code enforcement's mission is to ensure compliance with county codes and state laws, to create safe, attractive communities that improve the quality of life of residents.
County Code Enforcement has several special programs: illegal dumping, community cleanup, graffiti abatement, fire hazard abatement, off-highway vehicle enforcement, cannabis enforcement, and of course our traditional code enforcement program.
Code enforcement benefits residents through our goal of leaving people better than we found them, by leaving them safer because we have addressed unpermitted construction that could affect the occupants, or by improving blighted conditions that affect not only the occupants, but the community.
My role in code enforcement is to ensure that residents of San Bernardino County are following the rules and the ordinances, talking with the public more one-on-one, helping them learn the ordinances, but also talking to them as though we're neighbors, because we need to make sure that San Bernardino County is a good place to live, a good place to work, and be a beautiful place for the residents.
Our code enforcement team continues to grow. We're working on some initiatives that are going to expand services and create new programs that'll help our county residents.
I'm very pleased with them always. I've dealt with them for a good 30 years now. There's reasons for the code enforcement, and we want our city safe, and you can see when you don't have the codes what you get.
Chapman Law. Which one's regarding?
There's no money in it. You want to go to jail? What is this? Just a picture at the top? No, it is.
We're ready? Oh, thanks, you can see. You ready? Good morning. I'd like to call this Board of Supervisors meeting to order, and I would like to acknowledge the High Desert and the Joshua Tree conferencing sites, and thank you for joining us. Today's invocation will be presented by the 5th District.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Today gives me a great pleasure to introduce Reverend Craig Henderson. He's currently the senior pastor of the Bridge Church of Nazarene, located in the community of Bloomington. He's held this position since January of 2022. Reverend Henderson has served the Church of Nazarene for the past 23 years at several locations: Ohio, Florida, Tennessee, now in the state of California. Reverend Henderson received his Bachelor's of Science degree from Social Studies Education from Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. He received his Master of Art degree from Ministerial Leadership from Olivet Nazarene University in Kankakee, Illinois. Happily married to his wife, Ashley, for 30 years. They have 5 children residing in 4 different states, including California, Alaska, Tennessee, and Ohio. Reverend Henderson is passionate about his work that he does, and one of his favorite most used scriptures reference is Romans 8-28. As we know that in all things God works for all good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose. In his free time, Reverend Henderson enjoys reading stereo equipment, running, and going to the gym. This morning, we are blessed to have Reverend Craig Henderson lead us in prayer, and we'll also recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Reverend.
Thank you, Board of Supervisors. Brother Joe, for the invitation. Shall we pray this morning? Oh God, we pause this morning to reflect upon the myriad and multiplied blessings that we enjoy today. The miracle of life, the marvels of this day, and the opportunities afforded each of us. Chances that are ours to love and help and serve and do real good. Choices that we can make to bring about justice, change people's lives for the better, and make the kind of difference you intend, oh God, when you placed each and every one of us in the areas of responsibility which we now appreciate. Father, thank you for causing us all to live in this great country, the United States of America, the great state of California, and the most beautiful and biggest county in the United States, San Bernardino. We're grateful for this body that's in front of us, the Board of Supervisors. We pray that your divine wisdom and guidance will pervade this room and every person in attendance today, so that what takes place is not merely about us and the here and now, and that we may be able to sense not only with our eyes and ears, but also with our hearts, the kind of lasting hope and joy and peace and innovation that can come about when good and godly people gather together for purposes much bigger than themselves. Now we pray that the God of hope fill everyone here today with all joy and peace as we trust in you, so that we may overflow with hope by the power of the Spirit living among us. And we ask this with humble hearts. Amen. Amen. Shall we recite the pledge together? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to our memorial adjournments. Vice Chair Cook. Supervisor Hagman?
No.
Supervisor Baca?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I do have one. It was Samuel Baber, 85 of Rialto. And this one is very personal for me because I was actually high school students with his son and actually his grandson's PE teacher at Rialto High School. I know that Samuel Baber was a good man. He lived in Rialto most of his life and raised his children there. So On behalf of the county, just want to make sure we adjourn in his memory. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Armendariz.
Yes, Madam Chair, I have one to speak of also. Bill Steed, who was a fire chief in Mount Baldy, passed away peacefully at the age of 94, surrounded by his family. Bill retired from the Mount Baldy Fire Department on December 31st, 2014. His legacy will continue to inspire and guide us for years to come, and just wanted to take a moment to adjourn in his memory also.
Thank you very much. Do we have any reports from County Council?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. In the case of Board of Supervisors versus Renner et al., the board voted 4-1 with Chair Rao opposed to file a petition for a writ of certiorari in the United States Supreme Court in this case involving supervisor term and compensation limits. Thank you.
Thank you. Reports from the CEO, Luther.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Nothing to report.
All right, individual board member comments. Supervisor Cook. Supervisor Hagman.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just going to talk briefly about one of our consent items, number 31, and so I don't have to pull it and to give it praise. I'm excited to announce that Supervisor Armendariz and I have submitted 3 funding requests for the American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA. Funds today on the agenda. If approved, the funding will go to the City of Upland to help with 3 major improvements for the city and its residents. Valdeview Dog Park will receive a redesign, expansion, improvement of 3 large and small dog areas in the park. It will include installation of fencing, lighting, shaded structures, walking path installation, sod installation, and dog park amenities as a way of promoting healthier living environments and socialization. Another item, downtown Upland will receive the infrastructure in the downtown area to improve public safety and security, and Upland High School will receive an enhanced in the current athletic program. So I just want to know that we're doing wonderful things for our city partners, and these are all partnerships with the input and resources as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Supervisor Baca.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Just want to report on last week we had the groundbreaking for Fire Station 226. Really want to thank Madam Chair Rao for participating, Sheriff Shannon Dykes, and also Chief Muncie for being there. It's a great opportunity. It's a $10.2 million investment in the community. And one of the things that we did is when we inherited the county of San Bernardino prior to my time, we inherited the fire stations. One of the things we didn't get is capital improvement. And so having the ability to invest in these projects is great. Also want to thank the partnership with the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians for also participating in the investment in this. This is going to be a great improvement to the community, but also allow our county employees, our firefighters, to have a place to be housed, a much better facility. So we think this is a good investment in the community here. So I want to thank the city of San Bernardino for coming out and supporting it. Also last week we had the animal shelter sign revealing, and I want to thank Luther, our CEO, for being out there and supporting, and it's a great thing. It's a great investment, potentially $60 million investment, and Assemblymember Eloise Gomez-Reyes was there in support, and she secured $4.5 million for the animal shelter. And just a side story for it, and I know that, staff was there, but one of the things is we had the ability to adopt, and there was a family that drove by, just happened to see what was going on. They stopped, pulled over, and actually at that time adopted a pet. So it's just a good small story to share with the community and how much this animal shelter will mean to our county and county services, but also to the Bloomington community. And this past Saturday, I went to the San Bernardino County Museum for the Cosmic Nights. I took my family there, and I just want to say hats off to the San Bernardino County Museum staff. One of the things that was interesting is there was a lot of families there taking advantage of the county event. But also there was a lot of teenagers there. So it's kind of a safe haven for a lot of teenagers there. They had an opportunity to see the moon, Saturn, stars, and just a great event. So just some of the good things I want to highlight that our county staff is doing in our county departments. And the last thing, just want to say hats off to staff on item 31. I know that Supervisor Hagman mentioned a couple of his items, but we had a couple items too in the 5th District under the American Rescue Plan Act. We're making an investment of $1.5 million into Eisenhower baseball field. And for me, this is personal. I actually played in this program. It's a good investment. They're going to do some upgrades, add lighting. And one of the things with the new state law that was passed, late start has really challenged a lot of our local schools and having the ability to play. And a program like this will now have lights to be able to practice as the time changes over time. The other investment was in adding lights to Rialto High School. which I, taught and coached at. So these are personal requests for me, but an investment back in our community, and most of all, investment for our families and children. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Supervisor Armendariz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple things. First, start with item 31. Also, just want to thank my colleague here, Kurt Hagman, for partnering with me on these items. I think they're a great benefit to the city of Upland, and anytime we can help our partners, we really want to do what we can to help them. Other item is item 4 is a resolution for Brightline West, and I just want everyone to understand that I think this is a great opportunity for us if we approve this resolution. It means a safer, cleaner, and faster alternative routes to Vegas. It'll be a more than $10 billion impact to our economy, with over $1 billion in tax revenue, creating over 35,000 construction jobs and creating 1,000 permanent jobs. So under the consideration item 4, hopefully we approve that today and create a win for the 2nd District.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody who was involved in my Morongo Basin Resource Fair. We do these in various areas of the county in my district, and it's an opportunity for us to have our Workforce Development Board gather employers who are hiring. We also have the public defender come and join us for an expungement fair. So anybody that has low-level misdemeanors or even some felonies can have them expunged if they meet certain criterias. The public defender sends a team, they all meet, and they go through the expungement process right there at the resource fair. You leave that area, you go in, and you can be with our mobile assessor to get mobile records printed right there on the spot, and then go and apply for jobs. And so it is a tremendous effort with our county Veterans Affairs, Workforce Development, Public Defender, and the Assessor's Office and my team. So it's an awful lot of work, but our residents and our employers really like it. So I want to thank everyone involved in that. And with that, we will move on to the presentation of the agenda. Linda, do we have any revisions or additions?
We do today. Thank you, Madam Chair. Today, item number 58. Item number 58 is being taken off calendar. And item number 77, recommendation number 3 for item 77 is revised to read as follows. Authorize the chair of the Board of Supervisors or the Director of Real Estate Services Department to execute the grant deed, escrow documents, and any other documents necessary to complete the acquisition of the property subject to county council review. The rest of the recommendations are unchanged. Those are all the changes I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will move on to conflicts of interest. If we have a board member who has a conflict of interest to disclose regarding an agenda item, this would be the time to do so. All right, seeing none, we will move on to our consent calendar, which today consists of items number 2 through 83. And I'm going to take public comment from the Joshua Tree Center first. I believe we have Pat Flanagan to speak. Good morning, Pat.
Good morning. Unmute myself.
You're unmuted and ready to go.
I'm unmuted, thank you.
You are.
Good morning, Chairman Rao and members of the board. The Morongo Basin Conservation Association, of which I'm a board member, supports the adoption of the RCIS and commitment, this is in item number 82, and commitment of the many entities throughout the nearly 12-year process in developing the strategy. The need for the adoption of this important voluntary and non-regulatory program is becoming ever more apparent with the ongoing climate and extinction crisis. We strongly encourage that the following item, number 7, be removed from the resolution as it is biologically unsound and counterproductive. 7 reads, find the RCIS shall not trigger conservation of vegetation that does not currently require mitigation under CEQA for the lead agency, including but not limited to desert scrub, transitional scrub, chaparral woodland, and non-native grasslands that do not support special status threatened or endangered species. Current scientific studies and analysis are revealing the important role played by the ecosystem underground in sequestering and holding carbon. It is critical to acknowledge and support this ongoing functioning mechanism, and inclusion of number 7 above would be contrary to this goal. With the passage of the Western Joshua Tree Conservation Act Inclusion of number 7 could undermine efforts to translocate Joshua trees to areas without Joshua trees present, thereby reducing options to mitigate for impacts to the western Joshua tree. We again appreciate clarifying the important policy aspects of the RCIS, but urge number 7 be dropped. It is not necessary for realizing all the other components of the resolution. Continued use of the local species approach will provide the clearest path to streamlined permitting and other benefits. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we will come back here in chambers. The first request to speak that I have is from Carlos Rodriguez.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow Board of Supervisors. Carlos Rodriguez, Chief Policy Officer with Building Industry Association, Southern California. As you know, the BIA has been involved in the RCIS working group since its inception. We were originally told that the RCIS would help to more easily process and provide increased certainty with streamlined permitting, and that the RCIS would balance housing and conservation. This has not proven to be the case. Unfortunately, without clarification of intent, the RCIS will serve as a Trojan horse and be weaponized by anti-housing zealots who continue the tragic history of CEQA abuse. We urge adoption of the resolution to provide clarity of intent of the RCIS. We strongly support finding item 7 of the resolution, which merely affirms the voluntary nature of RCIS and clarifies there is no intent to trigger additional conservation and mitigation beyond what is currently required under CEQA by the lead agency. Regarding the CEQA abuse, please note the Chapman Law Review and Report and related fact sheet presented to you this morning for your consideration. In the fact sheet regarding CEQA abuse, please note that CEQA lawsuits targeting new housing continue to expand, and in fact, in 2020 alone, there were 48,000 housing units targeted in CEQA lawsuits, representing approximately 50% of California's annual housing production. In addition, as noted on page 76 of the report this morning, anti-housing CEQA lawsuits collectively sought to block over 1 million new housing units and nearly a third of Governor Newsom's inaugural proclamation of 3.5 million housing shortfall. To put this in perspective, it is important to recognize that housing delayed is housing denied. For those unable to find housing they can afford for themselves and their families, and that meets their household needs for good schools, accessible jobs, and homeownership. California's failure to build more than 3 million new homes over the past decade has caused the state to have the highest poverty rate in the nation, inclusive of housing costs, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. The housing crisis inflicts the most direct harm on younger Californians and communities of color who struggle to pay routine monthly costs, even with median and above median incomes. Even older homeowners experience the housing crisis as children and grandchildren move to states with more balanced housing markets. The housing crisis has also infected every segment of California's economy, with high housing costs cited as the leading reason why hundreds of thousands of people have moved out of California in recent years, a historic reversal of the state's longtime population growth pattern. Of the 512 CEQA lawsuits filed during the study period in the report,
time.
please note figure 1 shows about
Thank you,
100.
Carlos. Thank you, we're out of time. Next up, we have Deborah Knowlton, followed by Teresa Radzik.
Items on the consent calendar are supposed to be routine and non-controversial. However, items 61 and 62 from the Registrar of Voters are far from that. Several speakers during the last few months have spoken strongly against the Dominion machines and questioned ballot security. Now in item 61, you are voting to include vendor duties relating to data, i.e. votes, management, and increasing the more than $32 million contract by almost $587,000. And this contract extends until 2034. In item 62, you're purchasing mobile ballot printers with vendor duties relating to data, again, i.e. vote management, and increasing this expenditure from over $1 million to over $2 million. Expenditures for both items 61 and 62 require adjustments to the Registrar of Voters 23-24 budget at a time when you are hiring a consultant to see if the San Bernardino County is receiving its fair share of state funding. The Declaration of Independence states that to secure the rights of life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the government, a republic. Since the consent of the governed cannot be ascertained from fraudulent elections, what recourse do the people have? The Declaration states it perfectly. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. By our presentations and those of several experts at Mike Lindell's cyber conferences, as well as the documentaries 2000 Mules, Zuckerbucks, and Tina Richards' Selection Code, we have tried to alter the wrong that our government is doing. If you vote for items 61 and 62, then our efforts have been useless, and you will be complicit with the California legislature in depriving the citizens of a republic. So now, what can the people do? How do you abolish a government that no longer reflects the will of the people? The United States Constitution has the answer in Article 4, Sections 3 and 4. Section 4 states the United States will guarantee to every state in the Union a Republican form of government, which by your vote today will or will not happen. If we do not have a Republican form of government, then Section 3 states that new states may be admitted by Congress into this union, but no new state shall be formed within the jurisdiction of any other state without the consent of the legislatures of the states concerned, as well as of Congress. West Virginia, the last state to separate from another state, Virginia, provides the precedent for this. Unfortunately, California citizens who have not already voted with their feet and left the state have already been working for years on an alternative constitution-based state called New California. I hope we can avoid all of this by you voting no on items 61 and 62 and supporting paper ballots, voter ID, and single-day elections with absentee ballots available to those who need them. If you are wondering how you can do this, I suggest you refer to the Doctrine of Lesser Magistrates. Thank you.
Thank you. Teresa Ratzick will be followed by Laurie Masanis.
So the items on the consent calendar are supposed to be routine and non-controversial and acted upon in one motion. We're just going to ask that you table items 61 and 62. Increasing the Dominion contract amount of 31 million to 32 million more, at least, and increase it by about 500,000 is a big thing. And purchasing mobile printer services for a total of $2 million over the next 5 years, not to mention the mobile printers themselves for $200,000. What could go wrong there? Your complete disregard for the realities of the machine voting reaches, I think, to desperate situations. Machine voting is fraught with inaccuracies and downright fraud. And this has been stated even by Dominion's own top security expert, Eric Comer. Dominion machines across the nation have failed their logic and accuracy tests, and yet boards of supervisors are adding more and more money to them. Machine counts cost about $38 per vote, per counted vote. Paper ballots would cost about $2 per counted vote. Money is flowing for some reason. What we really need to do is to return to paper ballots, one-day voting, picture ID, hand count at the precincts with the results by midnight that same voting day. That is how it used to be done, not that long ago. That is how they do it in France and other first world nations. We should be doing that here.
Thank you very much. Is it Lorraine or Laurie?
Lori.
Laurie. Laurie Masanis.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone, Board of Supervisors, audience, and I guess the TV. I live in the 4th District, And like most Californians, I'm very concerned about my state and the bunch of bills, hundreds of bills that our governor will go through. It scares the daylights out of me what he's going to choose to pass and sign. I think it's obvious that our supermajority is very much anti-parent, anti-children. In the case of, parents should have the right to choose school choice for their kids, what their kids could learn. Also, there's a lack of freedom of choice for people, whether that's school choice or medical insurance, because that's one of the topics that's on his desk, single-payer insurance. We have a governor that goes all over the country and say, ooh, California's a free state. No, it's not. We don't have much freedom. I wish state officials would show more care as far as informing their constituents what they're working on, rather than just saying, well, I got X amount of money for an art center, but I want to know how they're going to vote on certain items, certain bills. It seems like state officials care more about lawbreakers than law-abiding citizens. Witness our Attorney General a lawsuit against a school district when it's actually school districts are local controlled, not by a governor or by an Attorney General who doesn't like where they stand. And of course, it doesn't help matters that in my district, city leaders and also county board supervisors support a candidate who is the opposite party for a state assembly, when if he does win, he'll just go along and vote along the way the supermajority votes. So really, in many ways, we're losing our freedoms because of these bad bills, and these bills that I think our elected officials should inform us how they're voting on. That would be very kind, and that would also help Californians want to stay here and not move out of state. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The last request to speak that I have is from Theodore Trentman.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I stand before you to address a critical issue that threatens the foundation of our democracy: disinformation campaigns and the safety of our election workers. As we approach another pivotal election season, it is imperative that we take proactive measures to safeguard the integrity of our electoral process by affirming measures 61, 62, and 83. Disinformation, intentionally spreading false information to deceive and manipulate, has become a pervasive force in our digital age. It not only undermines public trust, but also poses a significant threat to the fairness and accuracy of our elections. We must act swiftly and decisively to counter these campaigns, which we heard today, and ensure that truth prevails. To achieve this, I propose a formation of a dedicated task force, a collective effort comprising experts, technologists, and representatives from various sectors. This task force will be at the forefront of combating disinformation, utilizing cutting-edge technologies and data analysis to identify and debunk false narratives. Additionally, the safety of our election workers is of paramount importance. The task force will work hand in hand with law enforcement agencies to establish comprehensive safety protocols for election workers. This includes training programs, enhanced security measures at polling stations, and swift response mechanisms to address any incidents and threats promptly. Furthermore, public awareness and education are key to countering disinformation. In conclusion, let us unite in the face of this formidable challenge by forming a task force dedicated to countering disinformation and ensuring the safety of our election workers, and send a strong message that we will not tolerate the erosion of our democratic values. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any members of the board who wish to speak on or pull an item? I'll entertain a motion.
So move.
I have a motion from Supervisor Baca, Second from Supervisor Armandaris. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that, the motion passes to approve the consent calendar unanimously.
Thank you very much. Our discussion item, calendar number 84, is an introduction of the updated fiscal year 2023-2024 fee ordinance and regulations relating to the electric vehicle charging station fees and time limits for the Bloomington Recreation and Park District, being presented this morning by Brendan Biggs. Good morning. I will officially open the public hearing.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Brennan Biggs, Director of Public Works. Purpose of this hearing is for the establishment of electric vehicle charging station fees, charge time limits, and other new fees at the Bloomington Recreation Park District. On September 27th, 2022, the board adopted a countywide vision for electric vehicle charging initiatives. We are adding 2 electronic vehicle stations at Ayala Park, as well as establishing time limits for their use. These fees are in line with the prior county ordinance. We're also adding new amenities such as a new snack bar, batting cages, and a dream field to Kessler Park. So additional fees are needed for the use of these new features. This ordinance will approve the new fees, update the code section, establishes the parking restrictions for the EV spaces, and adds new deposits and fees for the new amenities. Recommendations today is to conduct this hearing, make alterations as necessary, and approve the ordinance to establish the fees and applicable code sections for the electronic vehicle stations and park amenities. The final adoption is scheduled for October 3rd. This concludes the presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much for that. Do we have any board member questions?
Madam Chair. Yeah, no questions, comments. I just want to thank Brendan and the team and thank Trevor for all the improvements that they've done at Ayala Park. And what this item is addressing is we've added a lot of new amenities that did not have fees established. And especially with the new Ayala Park, the amount of usage it's getting, a lot of community groups are beginning to use it. So this is just to recoup some of the costs. This is not to price our residents out of using the facilities. I think that's important to keep in mind. The electric vehicles are just being recently installed, so this is just basically falling in line with, as he mentioned earlier, what we adopted last year. And then also, you know, in regards to Kessler Park, you know, we know that Bloomington Little League is the home league there, but there are also many outside individuals that want to use that. We want to make sure that we don't penalize our home use league, which is there, but outside folks that want to use the park, because the park has been tremendous in all the improvements that we've done. So I just want to thank the team for bringing this forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I do not have any requests to speak at this time. Do we have any other board member questions or comments? Kurt.
Thanks, Brandon. I'm just wondering, this is the preview to other parks that we have in the county. I know we're being directed by the state and other agencies to become more and more electric. Obviously, we have the largest geographical county. What do you see in your crystal ball? Are we applying for the right grants and those type of things to get the more infrastructure?
Yeah, I think the county-wide vision, it looks for different, or a lot more EV stations around. I'm sure regional parks and, you know, project and facilities management have some plans that they're putting together, as well as maybe fleet management to expand those.
Yeah, Supervisor, we're looking at kind of holistically across the county strategic locations for us to put in EV charging stations. It's something we realize that, you know, has been there for a moment and we're just getting started, but we need to do it strategically that makes sense for us, and then you'll see these things come forward so we can recoup our cost for that service provided.
Well, I know that we're under some mandate for even our government vehicles, take out public safety vehicles, but the regular admin vehicles be there at a certain point, and it's challenging with the size of geographical area we have to do. So your hands full, and good luck making that strategic plan. Thank you.
Thank you. I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion. All those in favor? Any opposed?
Thank you, Madam
you,
Chair. With that,
Brendan.
the motion passes unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is our last discussion item. We will move on to our item, general public comment. And the first request to speak that I have is Garth Pazant, who will be followed by Jane Hunt-Rubel.
before the Honorable Board of Supervisors. Legal malpractice. The plaintiff must establish 1, the attorney-client relationship or other basis for duty. 2, the wrongful act or omission. 3, the proximate causation of damage. And 4, the measure of those damages. Burden has been placed on the attorney to establish freedom from fault or to negate other elements of a cause of action, such as in a transaction between the attorney and the client, or where the attorney is accused of taking advantage of the client. The only wrong was the attorney's alleged negligence. Attorney allegedly impaired the plaintiff's cause of action. The plaintiff must establish not only the attorney's negligence, but also there should have been a better result in the underlying lawsuit or matter. The attorney's negligence caused injury. The plaintiff must establish that the attorney failed to exercise ordinary skill and knowledge. The courts agree that the plaintiff bears the burden of proving negligence. Where the doctrine of res ipsa loquitur is recognized and applies, however, the burden of proof or producing contrary evidence is shifted to the attorney. The burden is then on the attorney to show the adequate excuse. The plaintiff must show that more likely than not, the attorney's conduct was a substantial factor in causing the unfavorable result. This means producing evidence that more likely than not, the attorney's conduct caused injury. Louisiana decisions involved missing time limitations have placed the burden on the attorney to establish that the claim could not have succeeded. The client establishes a prima facie case that the lawyer's professional impropriety caused the client some loss and has been extended to context other than litigation. When the negligence of the attorney makes it impossible to prove the collectability of the claim, the burden should be shifted to the attorney to prove that the judgment or any portion thereof was uncollectible. An appropriate area for shifting the burden of proof is where the lawyer's negligence has failed the availability of evidence for the client to meet the burden of proof. A 1994 California decision examined the issue where the client contended that the lawyer's negligence was a failure to assure the availability of evidence for a trial.
That's time.
For fiduciary
Thank you, sir. Jane Hunt-Rubel, who will be followed by Lori Masanis.
Good morning, board members. I didn't really know about the item 82, but what I'm about to say is kind of germane to it, the problem of affordable housing and the dissemination, getting rid of CEQA. That's our goal. Because yesterday I read the Sunday Sun, and I came across an article in the real estate. I'm always reading the real estate and the economic pages of the paper. And it said, all these these AB, what is it? AB 6, no, where is it? AB 1449, sponsored by David Alvarez and Buffy Wicks. Both live, well, the one person lives in San Diego, and the other people live in Oakland. Anyway, there's the sponsors of the bill, and then I noticed during the article, that upset me, and it's on the governor's desk, so I immediately phoned him and let him know this should be vetoed. But then I read the article thoroughly, and there's more on his desk by Democrats. They're good. I guess they hate CEQA, and there's more of them on his desk, which I got to read further. But it's basically, they want to do away with CEQA because in this one article, I don't know the name of the bill yet, but this one guy wants to propose the bill that would stop people from having, they call them frivolous lawsuits. And that's our only source of, we're not stopping development. And they want to get rid of CEQA. And that's the only thing for affordable housing. And what they're meaning by affordable housing, I visited a couple of places that were being built in so-called affordable housing. It's a joke. One place I visited was River Ranch in Rialto. And I got their highest priced one there is $800-something thousand. And their lowest one was 600-something thousand. I said, that's affordable? For who? So I don't know. It just seems they're taking away all the land, especially in the valley area, that should be protected, like Lytle Cajon Wash. And it seems like our governor is just going to approve all these bills. And it's for people that are sponsoring these bills. They live up in Northern California, they're already built out. And we have a much larger population down here. I guess they're thinking because especially San Bernardino is a large county, we have land for this. But, it really, I don't think the governor's going to listen to me, but I don't know
That's
why
time.
they're so against CEQA. Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Lori Masanis, who will be followed by Theodore Tremon.
Hello again. Yes, I want to speak on agenda number 61 on the Register of Voters as far as a contract with Dominion Voting Systems.
Excuse me. When you were up earlier, that was the time to do that. These are for items that are not on our agenda at all.
Okay, well, I thought that was just strictly public comments. That's why I put a second one for 61. I don't know, I'm confused. So what do I do?
We've already taken that action, so you can provide the public comment, but there's no means for the board to go back to it.
Okay, well, I don't know what I'm doing. Whatever.
All right. Theodore Trentman, who will be followed by Margaret Cashin.
Good morning, supervisors and homeowners of San Bernardino County. I stand before you today to address an unintended consequence of the board's aggressive campaign to stigmatize homeowners who choose to rent out their homes when they're not using them. Rather than enforcing the current 2008 ordinance that requires San Bernardino County homeowners to obtain a license for long-term renters, the board has decided to target law-abiding homeowners who obtain the necessary short-term rental permits. This approach makes little sense as these homeowners do not contribute to long-term housing, to the long-term housing market. Recently, I attended a Mountain Survey Town Forum where the impacts of homeowners obtaining licenses to rent out their homes were being discussed. I raised the question to the moderators, wouldn't it be more logical to have an accurate count of the number of rentals before studying how homeowners who have no intention of long-term renting impact the rental market? Unfortunately, my question was only met with a smile. There is no proactive enforcement in place to ensure compliance with the current ordinance, which would actually help us understand the number of homes being rented out long-term. Where's the campaign for that? Where's the hotline? When I asked about the number of long-term rental licenses issued in the county, I was told that you only have 250 licenses on record or less. If the goal is to address our rental housing issue, it would make sense to start by focusing on actual homes that participate in providing long-term rental housing. If listeners want to determine if a long-term rental has a license, they can call code enforcement. That's the approach you have with STRs. Let's have neighbors reporting neighbors. Since this method is deemed acceptable, right? Understanding anything about long-term rentals is impossible without first knowing how many full-time rentals are being offered. I urge you to do the right thing and follow the ordinances you already have passed. Count the number of rentals you have.
Thank you. Margaret Cashin, followed by Pat Enyart.
Hello. I am a homeowner in San Bernardino County. You're all very busy and your time is stretched thin. You probably have a lot of people vying for your attention on many important issues. Would it be unreasonable to ask that the Board of Supervisors work to allocate funding for mobile spay and neuter clinics for residents of San Bernardino County as soon as possible? COVID and inflation have caused this silent endemic to explode, and next year will be equally as bad, if not worse. The root cause of the problem is spaying and neutering animals. It seems like addressing this is the most politically neutral path to appease all your constituents and gain favor amongst them. California is the 5th largest economy in the world. It seems the state can afford this, and by addressing the overpopulation of animals, the quality of everyone's life improves. It seems like San Bernardino residents currently can access a voucher towards spaying and neutering their pets. My understanding is this voucher covers roughly 1/8 of the total cost. Most residents don't have supplemental income to be able to afford this additional expense and choose to forego spaying and neutering their pets. It seems like Riverside County recently created a program in a short amount of time for mobile spay and neuter bus clinics. San Bernardino could mimic the steps they took and get a program in place. Would it be unwarranted to ask for your help in implementing this? Secondly, San Bernardino is the 4th largest county in California. It has a population of over 2 million. It is the 14th largest county in the entire United States. It feels as if the shelters are overburdened and underfunded. It seems Devore Animal Shelter has 60 kennels total for all cats. In June 2023, 340 cats cycled through the shelter. There's a 5-day wait period before cats can be adopted or rescued. But after that, space is an issue. If Bloomington Shelter opens in 3 years in 2026, would it be unreasonable to suggest in the interim some sort of additional mobile structures or auxiliary structures be brought in to house new intakes and be quarantined from existing cats? Not only to handle this high volume, but also to separate the animals since diseases spread to new intakes within a short amount of time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And we do have that in the works, and it's budgeted for and coming soon, so thank you. The last request to speak that I have is from Pat Enyart.
Good morning. My name is Pat Enyart. I am a full-time resident of Sugarloaf, which is the mountain community in Big Bear. I'm here today to request a satellite county office with boots on the ground so that you better understand, we get better representation and understanding of our community. I recently attended the planning commission or the planning meeting that was entitled How STRs Affect Housing. If you truly understood our community, you would realize that STRs provide overnight accommodation for the visitors, create jobs, and provide millions of dollars in TOT taxes, which we are not seeing the benefits of on the mountain. The title of that discussion might have been, what is the county doing to address affordable housing? I don't understand how private individuals who own properties who happen to rent their homes are somehow responsible for providing affordable housing. If you continue targeting the STRs with exorbitant fines, fees, and ordinances, people will sell and there will be vacancies. However, people aren't going to have jobs to be able to pay the rent. We are unique. We are not the desert, we're not Arrowhead, and we're certainly not Palm Springs. Please understand our needs. We desperately need a clean bear site for our trash, and might I suggest utilizing some of those TOTs to create it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That is the last request to speak that I have, so this meeting stands adjourned. The next regularly scheduled Board of Supervisors meeting will be here in Chambers, October 3rd at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.